Hey guys, it's me Jam, aka Garrett203 here today, and today we'll be doing another Yugioh Pro deck profile of Monarchs. This deck's gonna be released this week, sometime around the weekend, but in our locals it's in a couple of days, so probably get it in a day or two. Probably be doing a box opening of that, so look forward to it. And Monarchs is probably one of the better structure decks being released after the Master of Pendulums one. This is maybe literally tier 1 in a box because you can actually compete with the meta, providing you open a good hand. This deck does brick a lot in testing, about 5% of the hands is brick, so there's a lot of consistency issues. You can just sometimes draw these cards and monsters like this card of searches and stuff that you can't search with unless if you got a monster. But a lot of the cards are anti-brick, like Pantheism and the better cards. I'll be speaking to them in a moment. There's plenty of builds for this, but at the moment the only builds available if it's released is probably the Speedroid build and the Monarch structure standard build, which is the one I'm going to be using today. There's also the Mecha Quantum Quantal, they changed the name, with triple Ehther, one layer and one blue layer and a couple of red layers, which recycles itself, so that's a good tribute engine, but we're not getting that until Wing Raiders, so I'm not going to be doing anything on that. I did do a Speedroid build, which I'll show you in a bit after this one, but yeah. First of all, I'll talk about the cards. Erebus, I don't know if they changed the name of these, but Erebus is the Dark Zombie Monarch. You tribute it by tributing its root summon monster, a bit like a Mega Monarch, and when you summon it, you shuffle one card in your opponent's hand, or field or graveyard, which is really good. It doesn't target by dumping 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck to your grave, which is really good as well. You usually dump Pantheism if you want that in the grave and the original Monarch. Otherwise, you dump random stuff, which you can also retrieve later on for funny plays with Edea, and that's what he does. And if he's also in the graveyard, you can also pitch a Monarch spell and trap card and recover any Monarch monster with 2/8 attack or defense, 2/4 attack or more, and 1000 defense. So you can literally get most your deck back, most your Monarchs or Ice Fiend from the graveyard back to your hand by using his effect. That's only once per turn, of course. Ehther is not a once per turn monster. This woman is a monster. She's a huge Monarch, and this is probably one of the better Monarchs. Probably the best Monarch in my opinion. I think it's better than Erebus. This one summons one from the deck, and it goes back to the hand at the end of the turn. The thing is, she can summon herself, and you can also tribute some monsters like Omega Monarchs, and you can tribute over on your opponent's main phase. I wish it was any time during your opponent's turn, but it's only on main phase, which is probably the drawback of this card. And if you do tribute it, it can be an interrupting play, because you can just summon a Kuraz from the deck. This is why we play a double Kuraz. Even though you can't attack the turn you summon him usually on your opponent's turn for interrupts. When you summon Kuraz, of course, you just pop up to 2 cards and you draw cards. We play 2 Kurazes as combos with the Ehther. You can also pop him to draw cards. He's a good draw engine, and you can pop your own brick cards. Like you say, you set this, you don't want this in hand early game, unless you want to pitch it with Pantheism, so you might want to pop that, or you can pop your own Edea if you've got a spare tribute, because this only needs 1 tribute. You play 2 Majesty's Fiend, you don't have to play 2. I want to play 2 because it's just a good stun card, and it stops a lot of decks. Most builds in OCG plays 1, and they play 1 Mega Fest. So, not all of them, but some of them play 1 Mega Fest, the last one, with the main deck Mega Caius, because it's really good in the mirror match. In my couple of hours of testing yesterday, I've only had 1 mirror match in which I lost to a Mega Caius. It just destroyed my deck. So 2 Majesties and 1 Kuraz, 2 Kuraz, sorry. You can also take out 1 Majesties for on the 3rd Kuraz. I really need to go to a 3rd one, except for 1 particular game. But I think I didn't conserve my resources in that game that much, so I didn't really need the 2nd one if you conserve it properly. Yugioh Sagi Ghost Augusto Rabbit. This is an expensive card, so if you want to build like a budget build, because literally this is the structure deck with a couple of cheap cards, except for this card added on Maxi. You can play a Veiler instead. It's probably the cheapest of the best hand traps right now. But it's Pendulum format, so this card's probably the best one. Ehther the Thunder Vassal is good for OTKs. I don't really go into it often with Edea. I usually go into this card because Eidos, because when you summon this one, you get a normal summon, additional normal summon for a tribute. But she's a good OTK card if you draw it. You spec it, you spec a token on your opponent's side, and you can't spec from your extra deck the turn you do it. You don't really care because you don't play a single card in your extra deck in this deck, you don't need it. That's also another problem with this deck. Your opponent knows what you're playing if you don't have an extra deck, because Monarchs usually don't have extra decks. There's also another build with the extra deck which uses Zabor, but I'm not tested that at all, so I know it exists because you do the Nittis combo with it. With Nittis, if you go to the grave, you just pop cards, so, and this card just destroys the extra deck, but I'm not tested that at all. As I said earlier, Eidos is another monster. It's a good card. You can summon it off Edea, and if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it, summon a Edea from the graveyard. That's pretty much what he does. He's really good, and play 2 of that. You can play 3 of that and drop a Mithra, but I like Mithra. A lot of builds only play 2 as well. And there you go. And 2 Maxis, of course, is a good hand trap format, so 2 Maxis is pretty standard. Edea the Heaven Knight, one of the better tribute fodders of the structure deck. We normal or spec it. Spec a vassal basically, so 800 attack, 1000 defense monster from your deck. So that includes a Mithra. These two are the same attack and defense, so you got a choice between Mithra and Erebus. But most turn 1 you go into Eidos because you want to get your additional normal summon. Mithra only gives you the additional normal summon if you tribute her, so the good thing to do is to follow up play with this card and summon a Mithra and Eidos. But you don't want to draw these, so you don't want to draw them ever. It's really bad if you draw them. Unless you got a Courage, you can probably normal and tribute and pop them some cards and draw, so you don't brick. And the other good effect of Edea is it recycles Monarch spell and trap cards. So if it just goes to the graveyard once per turn, you get banished a spell or trap card for Monarchs. You usually get a Pantheism back, and Pantheism is probably the second best or third best card in the structure deck. It's basically trading cards of consonants. It's got a Monarch spell and trap card. You just draw 2 cards, and after that, the draw bit is not once per turn, but this bit is once per turn, which is still a good effect. Banish it from the graveyard, make your opponent choose between 3 Monarch spell and trap cards. Can be the same, doesn't have to be different names, and they make them pick one of them, and it goes to your hand. It's only once per turn, and it can also search itself, so it's pretty damn stupid. And Roosevelt's to the army, man. You probably drop this card when you play another engine, like the Speedroid engine, but if you still really need an idea, you can still keep it. A lot of people have been dropping this in OTG, so because they're playing the Quantum Italy better, which is, I admit, it's more consistent since it specs instead of consuming a normal summon. And if you normal summon, then negate this, you don't have another tribute summon, so that's the weakness of that tribute fodder mechanic. But 1 road search for the consistency of getting ideas into your hand turn 1 or 2 if you go in second. Grudge of the Monarchs is basically search any Monarch spell and trap card by revealing any of these in your hand. And 2 Twin Sisters, you don't like Backrow. If your opponent opens like a warning and a scolding, solemn notice, you're probably screwed unless you draw a Twin Twister, because you need to get your normal summons to go off and your effects to go off to set up your plays later on mid-game. And 3 Monarchs, 1/4, pretty standard. It's one of the reasons why I like going second with this deck. You can go first, but this card is really dead turn 1. Unless of course if you open a Mithra, but that's unnecessary. And Charging Emperor or March of the Monarchs. You don't have to play this card. I used to play 2 Molding Monarchs, but I decided to put this in because we play 2 Majesty's Fiend. This is unnecessary to put in, but I like this card because it protects your monarchs from being targeted or destroyed, so it stops them from being Breakthrough Skilled or Fiendish Chained or getting Mirror Force, etc., Deep Prison, etc. It's good for securing your field presence and makes a Majesty's Fiend a lot more annoying for your opponent. And Return Monarchs, it's basically a Black Whirlwind, similar to the Black Wings card. If you tribute summon instead, you search a 2/8 or 2/4 Monarchs with 1000 defense each. So most of the time you usually get an Ehther. So after that, during your opponent's turn, you get the Ehther tribute over your thing you tributed over, and you get another search for this, and then that would be the Erebus. You do Ehther on your opponents, do Erebus on your turn, blah blah blah. Erebus clears cards. This card makes you accelerate your plays, and it's field spell, triple of that. This is a floodgate basically for extra deck. If you control if you don't have cards in your extra deck, which we don't, and you control a tribute summon monster, it makes your opponent not be able to summon from the extra deck. So that is a floodgate. It's like it's a floodgate. It's like Fable Unicorn, but it doesn't let them special summon at all. So if they have nothing in their main deck that's bigger than 2/8, they need to clear this thing with Backrow. This guy's really annoying. I was playing against it. And you can also reduce the level of a level 8 Monarch in your hand by 2, so it basically needs just 1 tribute. And that's a really good effect because you sometimes don't have enough monsters on the field and your shit gets negated. So, and triple off the trap card. You really only need 2, but I needed a 3rd one in some games because I dump it too quickly, or I discard 2 of it at the beginning, and I didn't manage to retrieve it with Edea later on. And we went late game, and you need this to recycle cards. What it does is it's literally like a pot of avarice, but only for 2 Monarch spell and type cards in your graveyard. You shuffle them both in and draw 1. So late game, if you're running out of resources, this card is good, as you can just keep on drawing cards. So let's say you don't want to deck out, and some games you do go along because this deck is kind of grindy sometimes if you don't OTK or anything. And there you have it. There's also some random text, as I mentioned, some of them already, like the Mecha Monarchs. And there's also Vanity's Fiend. I don't like this one because it's got 1200 defense. If only had 1k defense, we were playing 1 Majesties, 1 Vanities, but this one's got 1200 defense, so it's not searchable. And it doesn't work with this card because it needs 1000 exact defense, and this is 12 defense. And of course, the other trap cards. This is a skill drain. You can just run this. You can run this at 1, and this one lets you tribute on your opponent's turn. But we don't got Ehther, so we don't really need it. But some bails have been playing one of this just to annoy your opponent by summoning Kuras from hand on your opponent's turn, or summoning an Erebus on your opponent's turn. And you can do it on the battle phase as well. Oh yeah, you can do it on battle phase. So if you do Ehther on the battle phase, that'll be pretty funny. And this one's a skill drain. There's other ones, but they don't really consider as good to be used at the moment. Yeah, let's go and watch some replays. Started playing this yesterday, about a couple of hours. First build I did was just a normal build, which I like going second. I'm finding going second more convenient. And this one's against Cosmos. I did go second in this one. We get a search, Pantheism. Of course, Pantheism is important setting up your plays, and you can plus. I've already plus a couple of times in this. And we're quite lucky here that we got Twin Twister, but they're playing Artifact and Cosmos, so I card them a battle phase this turn, which means no damage, and they get Scythe summon. We can't summon from an extra deck, we don't care about that though. Scythe starts from an extra deck summoning, we don't even summon from an extra deck, so that's basically just a blocker. And Kuras is going to let us draw a card, and Ideas can recycle the Pantheism, and I used that 3 times this turn. It's pretty dumb. And we got a bigger monster than them. However, they got a Farm Girl in hand, and we're going to go to Dark Destroyer. However, we got a Maxi, so it stops them from overextending with their Dark Destroyer. Popping it, but I don't think they will because they can't even play the Kuras anyway. So we got 1 draw off the Maxi, and the main key card against Cosmos is Monarch Stormforth. You can't target these, and Dark Destroyer and stuff are bigger than your Monarchs, so. And you don't want to really destroy Monarchs by battle or anything, so we want to tribute over them preferably. And we got Mithra here activating, and we make a token on their side, and this is when Monarch Stormforth comes in clutch, and the Warden Monarchs. We got another normal summoner, tribute summon, additional big summon Mithra. So we're going to tribute the Dark Destroyer. Reduce the level of our Erebus in hand, and shuffle the field spell away because we don't have enough on the field to recycle the resources. And of course, Kuras can't attack the turn it's being summoned, so he just did pop cards, and we managed to recycle stuff now by using the trap card because we got 14 cards left in our extra deck. And the Forerunners strict cleared our dude, and now we tribute over our Erebus for our Ehther. As I said, use Ehther on your turn. So we tribute over it and summon the Ehther for the next turn, because we already have an Erebus. We also got an Erebus in the grave if you want to recycle that. We don't have a Monarch Spawn Trap card, which we do now because of the Pantheism. Oh, and we're going to tribute over the Cosmo Forerunner. Shuffling their hand back into the deck, so they pretty much probably lost the game because we plus way too much and we did a double Stormforth. The trap card is, I forgot to mention, this trap card can also banish stuff from the grave, banish a Monarch Spawn trap card and summon it in defense position. You can use that on your opponent's turn because it's a trap card. That can be useful in recycling your Monarch Spawn trap card like Monarch Stormforth. I think I did it somewhere in this game but I didn't notice, but and you can get Idea to recycle it, so you want to reuse it again. Good choice, and I believe we're playing against Cyber Dragons here. Open the Cyber Repair Plan. They open a Machine Dupe combo to double Cyber Dragon. But they opened pretty well here, and they are going to make Infinity. They're going to eat up their own dude. And we're quite lucky here that we tried to bait them out with the Mithra, but they took the bait and we chained the Yugioh Ghost Ogre in hand, which just destroyed the Infinity. And we are getting Erebus play by attributing their own dude away mid-level 6 with a field spell, and they can't special summon from the extra deck because of this, and we have this spell card that stops him from being destroyed. So that means they can't do anything. They can't even go into a rank 5 because of the field spell. And we got some stuff in the graveyard as fuses for later on in the game. It's quite a one-sided match though. And it's also against Floodgates. Basically, it's not Floodgates, it's against the Tellarknights. You can see they got Anti-Spell Fragrance. That's not a problem card in this deck. It does slow down the deck quite a bit. Let's say if they went first, it wouldn't be as good as what we opened just there. Because they have Anti-Spell Fragrance main deck. They actually have probably 3 because they have 2 set here, which is really damn crazy. And they just finished in our Erebus, so we can't do damage because that's the only resource they have. They've got too many Floodgates in the deck, and they top deck some stuff. And it's kind of a slow game in because of the Anti-Spell Fragrance, so at the moment we're just waiting for a top deck of Twin Twister or something, Kuraz maybe, just to clear their Backrow and Anti-Spell Fragrance to speed up the game for us. It's pretty stalemate, and now we top deck the Twin Twister, but however we can't use it because of the ASF activated, and we waited for the draw, and now we decided what to pop. We tried to clear these because we don't have a spell, so we just drew cards. And we're carrying on with our Edea combos, and Mithra will go into this. However, the Mice Fiend was warning, and now since Mice Fiend was warning, the Mithra worked, and we had an initial tribute summon, and something tells me that their Mice Fiend fucks them over because they have a Altair in their hand, which means that it's useless next turn from the Mice Fiend stopping it. And we actually have the Charging Emperor, calling with the card name, the Japanese card name, March of the Monarchs in hand. So our Mice Fiend is protected. That was a bit of a lockdown against the deck. We kind of floodgate them instead of them floodgating us with their Anti-Spell Fragrance. And this card is a Reasoning. It's a weird build of Cosmo with Reasoning. Oh, it's not weird with Reasoning, but they got Moon Shield. It kind of works because of the Farm Girl. We'll find out in a minute. So we just open up our Mithra combo and get Erebus to shuffle a face down card away. I can't remember what it was. Torrential, was it? So we just decided Kuraz will pop the face down. I'm surprised they can't finish Janus now. I'm not surprised about it, but they got can't finish Janus because we have this, so we can't target the Monarchs. However, they have the Moon Shield Farm Girl combo, and very fortunate here we got the trap card in the grave. So you want to get another Search Farm Girl, probably a Cosmo Town, but we have this to cock block the Farm Girl. It's got a really big booty, it's 2/4. It's quite annoying to deal with this card when you're playing against it. We've got Stormforth now, and I'm going to just sack off their own Farm Girl. However, they Torrential with us, which kills only a trap card because this card's immune to any more destruction. So that's one of the reasons why we play that card. Stop your Majesty's Fiend from getting destroyed by card effects or be targeted. That's when that card comes in clutch. This is a standard game. Oh, this is against Pepe, I believe. Quite lucky going turn 1 here, and we could shuffle a card in hand, and it was the best card, new best card in the set. Draco Rivals or Draco Face Off, and this is why I play Ghost Ogre versus Monkey Keyboard, not letting them get a search, and this is them realizing they can't go to the extra deck, and their main deck has nothing bigger than this Tribute Summon monsters, so they need to literally destroy by Raigeki or something. And Mirror can't target Tribute Summon monsters, only Special Summon monsters, so they only half to the defense of this one. And that they pretty much were in the lockdown at that point in the game. You want to go first against Pepe, but against most matchups you want to go second due to the amount of hand traps we run. Like in this case, this one's against Ray Raptors. I think most of their stuff here is going to be released in the new set where the Mecha Quantums are, Wing Raiders. And they opened their standard Force tricks, however they got 2 Solemn Notices, which means that we won't be able to do any plays at all. And we just set up a deity hoping to pop it. I don't know if they rename this card, but Pantheism sounds really cool. That's them going off. Of course, Raider Raptors can't deal that much damage unless you control specials on the monsters. That's when they OTK you. And they just going to make a little force tricks here to plus even more. And they have a Fiendish and a Solemn Notice. And this is when we use the Pantheism, I think. Yep. That's when I draw cards. Keep on drawing cards until we drew the Twin Twister. Get rid of their Solemn Strike and Fiendish Chain, which means Edea works now. And now we got Erebus Blaze. Shuffle stuff away. That card is a problem card, so we took it away. And this stops their whole deck completely since they can't go into the extra deck. I forgot to mention, Dominion of the Legendary Monarchs is another card effect is if your Monarchs attack and battle a monster, your Monarch gain 800 attack. And this is when we realize that Kuraz does miss time, since in TCG rulings the tribute summon monster must be chaining 1 if the timing issue of the card text is the same. So Ehther in that case has to be chaining 2, which means Kuraz missed times. That's why we didn't use Kuraz effect there, which is a problem. So you don't want to tribute an Ehther during your opponent's turn. Over the Edea, they have a Knight, but now we got a combat player since Erebus is going in, and Eidos summon back the Edea and summon a Mithra. This means we got another normal summon. I think that's what we're going to do it. And we got a Majesty's Fiend there, player in the field, and just left in a 4-strict in defense position. And they can't really do much with that. And now we got a 15 card main deck, so we want to recycle stuff and draw cards, so that's what we're doing now. Just going to keep plussing. We got Majesty's Fiend tributed over that thing, and we got a complete lockdown off the deck with Majesty's Fiend and anti-Raigeki basically. Can't destroy the Majesty's Fiends. That was completely unnecessary, but that was full game, I believe. And this once again BA. They did open Fire Lake, which is a problem, but we're quite lucky here that we got Twin Twister. Unfortunately, we didn't get a Maxi, so we couldn't really stop their place. I just went off with a Dante, Milgraf, Milser, get Rubik, and set a Fire Lake. So we're quite lucky here, however, with the Twin Twister. We just pitch this because it's quite useless turn 1. Unless if it's in the grave, which it is. So we just summon that, tribute to the Dante, and summon an Erebus from the deck, and that Dante of Fire and Deity, which lets us get the field spell, which shuts down Burning Abyss. The key thing about this is to shut down Burning Abyss is the field spell. Funny thing about Farfa is it returns at the end phase, so this card goes back to the hand in end phase, so it just stays on the field. Which is hilarious, really. And they can't really exceed here because of the field spell. So he's here with Kuraz destroying himself in the face down, and that was the Burning of this Fire Lake that we hit, which was quite lucky. This is Graph Beam summon. Now they're hoping to get the Traveller combos, but we top decked a Twin Twister. Another thing about Edea is if you pitch it from hand, it still works, so you can get a Pantheism back. I think the player there was get Pantheism back and draw more cards, so. And let's go for another replay. I believe this was against Pendulum, Magician, and Magispectors, which is one of the more popular decks right now. It's just it's super consistent and relatively cheap apart from the Raccoons. I think they played Draco Slayer, so I didn't see that one though, so maybe they probably do play Draco Slayer, so it's not that cheap. That's probably wrong then. Fortunately we have a Ghost Ogre here to stop Pendulums. So we stopped this one, however they did retrieve the Insight Magician back, so it doesn't matter really. Well, it may have been discard an additional card, however they still managed to special summon, Pendulum summon 4 monsters, and managed to get pluses from that. And the problem with their deck is they have no way around a 2/8 monster apart from the extra deck, so they will make a Allies Absolute Dragon to crash into the Erebus. And we cockblock them with the trap card to save our life points, conserve a little bit by banishing 1 Monarchs from trap cards, and we draw Maxi, which is a bit late. And Panditi, you can just search Panditi, which is pretty dumb. But we got a Twin Twister and a Ghost Ogre to stop them from next turn, so we just decided to shuffle the Pendulum Scales. So they got Pendulum summon next turn, and guess what happened? They top deck a Pendulum Core, which means these cards are useless now. We just decided to drop Maxi here just because we can. And since they have no way around this, we know. So they had to make a Castel just to get around it. this is not a monster effect, so it doesn't work. It does work against Meteor Eyes burst against this trap card, but it doesn't consume a trap card zone. It's specifying the cards that it doesn't. And we got for Edea plays, and let's go for another Erebus. Recycling, I think it's March of the Monarchs, because we don't have that much free, and we got a Magic's Fiend as well. Surprisingly, activated. I think that was maybe a misplay. Fortunate here that we got a Ghost Ogre concerned from last turn, which means their Majestic Pegasus is just useless since he got destroyed by Ghost Ogre. So rabbit. I'm just gonna form some plays with Magic's Fiend, such an Ehther. That's pretty much their field cleared, and we have nothing else in hand, so I guess this is probably game. It's a time for game. There we have it. We're on against Magic Spectre, Pendulum Magicians. And this one was a pretty one-sided game, but I just want to show it for the Mithra, showing off how Mithra works. This card can search Pantheism, so usually search it turn 1 if you don't have it, and this is when we actually will use Mithra Techers to OTK them. They did declare a field spell, so we're just gonna go along with it and tribute summon their monster by using Stormforth. And this lets us do another normal summon, and Ehther summoning a 2/8 monster and tributing over one more dude, i.e. Magic's or something, is exactly game. That's 2/8, 2/8, 2/4, that's 8,000 damage, so that is game. And that's the last replay where we actually did some good stuff. About 5% of the games is similar to this hand. Like, this is a really bad RNG on YGOPro. I just got screwed over. Mithra doesn't really do anything because you spec it and they get a monster as well. And this guy's got United We Stand. It doesn't matter how janky the deck is, you can still lose if you do brick, because this is Monarchs. You got big monsters, and there you go, that was game pretty much. So I was thinking of taking in one trade in, but I really don't really want these in the grave, except for Erebus. I don't really want Ehther in the grave, so we only play 6 of them, so I don't think trading is necessary. But that's why some builds play 2 of these, because this is terrible opening at turn 1. You just want 1 in the grave and 1 in the deck just in case late game happens. You can always recycle it as well. And that's one of the games we lost because we bricked. Like, you literally can't do anything in this hand, and we got another game where we bricked. It doesn't matter how bad the deck is, like, we're playing against Watts, but we bricked, so we just have, we got this. It's just like, okay. So we're going to take quite a bit of a beating here, quite a while. So we can't, and Maxi, it's just main deck hand traps for the meta. If you're playing against random decks like Watts, they don't really care about Maxi and stuff, since they're very normal special summon. Only Ghost Ogre is probably useful, and it's taking a bit of a beating. If they were playing another deck that doesn't special summon as much, like your Senjus, let's say, we probably lost this game at this point. We're quite lucky here that we just decided to set the Maxi out of desperation. But they're Watts, so they attack directly. They all attack directly. So what happened is they're just healing, and that's the banish is mandatory, I believe. And we're quite lucky here that we have a Kuraz as well. So we just basically did display to anti-brick. Then draw 1 card because we pop the field spell. We don't really care about the field spell. Right now they have Raigeki on the field in the hand. Yeah. Kuraz will pop 2 monsters, letting them draw 2 cards. They can all attack directly as well. This will banish a Kuraz. Surprised they didn't drop the Raigeki here. And we top deck this card. I think they were waiting for us. But if they did drop Raigeki here, it might have been like 1 game. It's 1, 2, 4. They all attack directly anyway. And we returned the game around, but that was after about 4 turns. So if they were playing another deck, it would have been a game loss, because of they can't wait too long until they kill you, can't they? And Raigeki doesn't really do anything here because of this card, so they probably kill 1 dude. And we'll just go super aggro now. Because they're on 8-2. I think that is probably game. 2-8, 2-8, 24. That's just billions of damage. We can't attack this turn though, because I think we killed this. what lever last turn. And they now drop the Eidos on the last second. However, we got so much stuff, we plus so much that it doesn't really matter at this point. We can pretty much do the same thing again. And we had the trap cards. This did go into late game because we bricked for a couple of turns, turn 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5, 6, whatever. Until that Kuraz play came in with a maxi set. We came back, but as I said, you won't have a chance to come back in a normal game against other meta decks, or even a mirror match, for example. And I think it's pretty much over. These draw YGOPro and surrendered there. But I just see that the deck is very prone to bricking, so thinking how you can build this without bricking. And this is the other build with Speedroid, so we literally just took out some cards like, took out one Majesty's Fiend, took out that card that protects it from being destroyed, took out a trap card, and I think we took something else. I took a Mithra out, kept the Rotor in, decided to keep that in because Edea is way too good, and played 3 Terratops and 1 Tactonberg, which you never want to draw a Tactonberg. But you want to draw a Terratop, you spec it from hand if you don't control a monster, and then you search a win monster, so you got 2 tribute fodder, but most of the time you only need to tribute for 1 monster, so for Erebus or Ehther, and you can storm for your opponents as well. So that's a pretty simple change from the previous one, not much difference, only 4 cards, and we got a couple of replays with some of the local guys. Played against some friendly there, I'll show you a couple of them. So against Danny and his Black Wings, we start with a Terratop, and there we go, we got Erebus. Fun day to make this live, but we got an Ehther, so we decided to search this instead. However, they did do just twin twisted our stuff, and so we decided to tribute our 700 attack Erebus for a Kuraz, pop then on Tuna and the Kuraz, so we get a draw. So we just dropped the maxi here because they drew a War of the Spear after Kuraz, which is quite unlucky. But we can't block them using the original Monarch, and we're quite lucky here that we drew a Rotor and an Ehther from the maxi and the Kuraz, which means we can turn this game around. So we just pitched the spell card for Erebus to come back in hand, and we decided to tribute 1 monster, and that will be the Edea, and that will recycle this card back to your hand, and shuffle their big Blackwing dude back, and activate this. For next turn we got an Ehther tribute fodders anyway. These are all tribute fodders. We're just going to summon a Kuraz to clear the back row, or a show game for next turn because I'm 5700. That's what they drew our Raigeki. That would suck. And that's a Speedroid build next game in one of the games. I actually lost that game because 2 of the other games that we played against the Black Wings, best of 3, I bricked twice. As I said, 30% of the game should probably brick. It's quite annoying. Here's another one against Nacho, and he's playing Fluffles of course, and he's testing out Mouse. The matchup for him is really bad because if you open the field spell, he can't really go into any of his Fluffle fusions. So that would suck. That kind of sucks for him. Because we did open that combo turn 1. This is him digging for answers, like a Twin Twister or something, to pop the field spells to give him OTKS. And this is Ehther summoning a Kuraz, and Kuraz will pop one of the back rows. Pop one of my own back rows, which is Twin Twister. So we get a draw, and Twister to chain it to pop the 2 back rows. That was a technical play just to draw and pop their back row at the same time. That's one of the funny things about Kuraz. He's really handy to draw cards. It's not just to pop your opponent's stuff, it's to draw stuff as well on your own while chaining stuff to pop your opponent's cards like Twin Twister, or Monarchs 4/4/4s, etc. Can't really use them for a fusion or make a sheep, etc. because of the field spell. And we got a 15 card in the main deck, so we decided to recycle some stuff and plus a little. Then I think that was a misplay with me using Toy Band. I think I assumed they were playing 1 bear because they already used one earlier. And they did plus a bit, but it doesn't really do much but make a wall of monsters which they can't really fuse with because of the field spell. This is just a floodgate game really, because you're not completely cut blocked by the field spell. I believe it's probably game, because it's just attack game. But they just surrendered at this point. And the final game is a really long grind games against Danny's Raid Raptors. He's looking forward to this deck in Wing Raiders, so we play with a Tacton ball. Speedroid build with the Stereotrop attack and some ball combos. With that build, you rather want to go first because you can go into Erebus, so much more easier. That is providing you don't brick. And there you go with this guy. This guy can make our Monarch go into defense position. So Monarchs have really shit defense, so they just kill it. So they can now exceed because of their Monarchs gone. So just have the end phase to clear their face downs, which is Icarus, and an additional card, which is Redirect to Nest. This is getting Erebus back and tributing over stuff. There we go, they're again floodgated back. But they had this card, so they do it again, so they switch this guy into defense position. Now they have 4 monsters doing shitloads of damage, but we have this Cop Block card again, so they can't really exceed, they can't really deal that much damage. They're both still at 8k at this point. Another thing about Erebus, good in the grave as well. I decided to Stormforth one of their monsters away, on their Force Strixes. And just go shuffle a card back into the deck. By dumping Pantheism. Get a search again at plus, and this guy goes to 3/6, so we don't really care about his defense. It's relatively high. We've got an Ehther set up for next turn, and we've got a March of the Monarchs here. I think the key part of this game was probably the March of the Monarchs. So he lets us turn the game around. So at this point, we just search Deep Trap card because we are actually running out of resources here. We want to recycle them plus a little. So they just changed this, so the rare dots can't be destroyed by battle. We just decided to use a Kuraz, and the Kuraz mistimed there again. I think it's because we did tribute a Edea, which had to be changed one of, unfortunately, over the Ehther. And it's just sort of plussing. Keep in mind you can use this in your opponent's turn, so keep on doing it and recycle resources. Very handy as well. It returns 2 exactly, and these guys got 2. So when you summon these, you just chain that, shuffle the 2 you're gonna dump, and they did top deck Raigeki here, so we just decided, oh well, fuck it, let's just shuffle and draw. Raigeki our stuff, and we just got to get Eidos in the grave, and get back this guy. So make this level 6, and Edea will get back this card. And we're gonna change this again. That's what I said earlier. Is shuffle these 2 back and then dump them back in. So you don't deck out basically, and you keep on doing this card's effect. And this game is pretty much over because we got a hand. It's just really stupid. You just plus so much because of the trap card and the ideas that we have being used to recycle all of these spell and trap card that was banished. Over there, this stole card, the trap card, Redirect its readiness. So we just decided to shuffle this back in again using another Erebus in hand. Field spell's quite handy sometimes. Makes these only need 1 tribute. Because sometimes you won't actually have more than 1. So you shuffle this back. Full control of this game. Let's discard a couple of cards. You don't really need those cards now. And top deck this card again. Stall even more. Don't know why he breakthrough skill there. It's just probably out. I don't know. Probably thought this card did the effect, but he didn't. I think I chained this so I can recycle it and draw another card. So it's quite useless there. And we're going to discard cards at the end phase anyway. And discard the field spell. And just top deck nothing but the Weight Raptors rank up magic. So there you go, there is Monarchs. That was a Speedroid build. It's pretty different. It's better going first in my opinion with that one. But this one you want to go second. And this deck's coming out next week, as I said at the beginning of the video. So look forward to it. It can beat some meta decks as long as you don't brick. That bricking issue should be really, when people build the better builds, they should probably remedy that bricking issue, because it's a huge problem in this deck, because you just open like this and like nothing that you can use as their high level. Any deck that involves high level monsters probably involves bricking anyway, like similar to Galaxies and stuff like that. You can't spec them from hand, etc. There you have it, guys. It's getting a bit dark now, so you can't see my face anymore. It's Mecha character for here. That was a bit long, but looking forward to this deck anyway. It's quite excited. See how the meta changes with this deck. Probably not as much compared to Pepe. Pepe is probably still better overall, in my opinion. What's this one? This is the Speedroid build. This is the normal build. Alright then, this is Jam, aka Character 3 here. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye bye.